Hello and welcome to my watch reviews. My name is Mike. I'm an amateur watchmaker and YouTuber. I've got a bigger channel called My Retro Watches where I repair vintage watches. But I like to review new watches as well. And here we have a new watch looking like a vintage watch by a brand that I've never heard of before until they contacted me. This one is called Milifortic. And take one look at the watch. Can you guess which watch this might have got all of its inspiration from? I think you can, because it looks remarkably similar to a very well-known Swiss brand, doesn't it? Let's face it. So on that basis, I have to give them 0 out of 10 for unique design, but let's mark it on everything else. So you're looking at a nice, sweet little watch. This is a 36mm case. You've got a nice NH38 movement in there, and that is great because you haven't got a ghost date position on the crown, so they're using the right movement for the right dial configuration, so that does get some points. Looking at the dial, well, it's a nice jet black dial, and you've got raised indices that you can see there with obviously the Arabic numerals of 3, 6 and 9 boldly in those places. Mercedes type hands, looms very well. Let's give you a quick loom shot now. So we've got a 10-minute time-lapse video here just to see how it degrades, and because it's applied indices, the loom is applied into those, so you get a lot more brightness. It's BGW9 Swiss Superluminova, and yeah, you can see over 10 minutes it's hardly lost anything particularly, and it does perform quite well for the price point of this watch, so I'm not going to grumble about it at all. It's pretty decent. So looking round the case and the bracelet, good bit of finishing, to be honest with you. This case we've seen before, I'll get onto that in a moment. It's a high polished side case. It's kind of like sculpted almost. Fits very nicely on the wrist. You've got a polished crown but not signed. Case top is brushed. The bezel is polished very well actually, and then you've got a bit of sapphire crystal with AI coating on the top, which is pretty much a flat crystal. Looking at the bracelet, it is a brushed affair on the links, and they're high polished on the sides, which again is very indicative of the model it's trying to represent. If we go down to the clasp, well, you've just got the usual milled clasp now with the stainless steel shell. High quality in a sense, very durable. You've only got 3 micro adjusts, which, you know, maybe you could have done with a bit more, but they're trying to keep the shell, I guess, small enough to represent the watch fitting better on your wrist. So there's a bit of give and take there. They are screwed links in a way, so you can size it quite easily. Now, just talking about this sort of model, to be honest with you, I've just done a video on my main channel, My Retro Watches, of a 1959 Rolex Oyster Date Precision, and looking at that watch and looking at this watch and some others that I might show in this video in a moment, you can see where these have all got their inspiration from, because they're coming from that era of Rolex basically. And if you want to see a video of that Rolex next to some of these, and we can do some sort of comparisons, then leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can make that happen. Okay, let's size it all up. Not that we don't know what it's going to be already, because we've seen this case 1,000 times. It is 36mm in diameter. It is going to be 11.6 thick. It is, I'm trying to remember now, 46mm, 43mm. I stand corrected. Lug to lug. The lug width is going to be 10mm. Sorry, 20mm, not 10mm. And the bracelet, as you can see, has got a slight taper to it. Now, I've put all the links onto the bracelet in an attempt to sort of show you how much spare links you might have depending on your wrist size. It's difficult to do on camera. So I've got a 7-inch wrist, which is a 18cm thereabouts, and you can see there is still plenty to go at there. So I actually removed 3 links to see it fit my wrist, and you have 3 micro adjusts. So there we go. Let's see what it looks like on the wrist. And here we go. I've got a 7-inch wrist. I am left-handed, so I wear it on the right. I know that's a weird for a lot of you, but there you go. I like to trigger a few people every now and again. A 36mm is a great size watch. Trust me on that. Here's the watch in the hand then, and it's nice enough. Nice black dial, the raised indices, the Mercedes hands and all of that. It is a case that we've seen too many times. Absolutely shows my fingerprints to the maximum, which is a bit embarrassing for a review. High polish side links. Down to the clasp, unsigned clasp, but the usual milled clasp, all the same that you expect to see. Screwed links. And then we're back up to the watch head. Milifortic, well, it's a military fortitude. That's how they've come up with the name. Military will be the inspiration for a lot of the type of designs of watches they want to make. Fortitude is sort of resilience and things like that. Their aim is really to improve on existing old designs, and I think by that they probably mean enhance them a little bit with a bit more modern movements, with hand winding, hacking, that kind of thing, sapphire crystal, giving you the reliability and a vintage vibe. Something we've seen all too much from their sister company, or their parent company should I say, Boltony, because Boltony own Milifortic. And well, what can I say? Look at these two watches. They are exactly the same case, exactly the same bracelet, exactly the same crystal, I think. Well, actually, no, I could be wrong with the crystal, and I think I am. This one looks a bit more raised. Massive fan of Boltony. It is Boltony have contacted me with this one, so you know, I said I'd have a look at it for them. The dichotomy though is that Boltony improved this watch, for instance, and made it with these raised indices. Sold really, really well. Got very positive reviews on YouTube as a result as well. And they are pretty much the same price. So this one is $199. No, sorry, $180. I can't remember. It's something like that. I'll put it on the screen now. This one is $200. So there's absolutely nothing in them really at all. You know, you're getting your signed crown and all of that. You don't get that on this one. So I'm not too sure what I don't want to do them a disservice, but I'm not too sure why Boltony want to create a brand that is pretty much the same brand that they're already got. There doesn't seem to be much difference. Certainly here, exactly the same watch, just a different dial, different. That's it, just a different dial, isn't it? Really. So yeah, you know, they have got some other designs, Milifortic. So you know, okay, that's fine. But they should completely distinguish themselves as a different brand from the lovely Boltony. I like Boltony. I like what they do, what they represent, and the price that they can make watches for. So that is the kind of downside. You know, there will be a link, of course, for this down below, and you can check out their website. You can look at their other watches. You decide. You tell me what you think. But certainly, just on face value, if you've got $200 to spend, which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy this brown dial one, you're going to buy the black one, or you're going to buy the black one that says Boltony on it, because they're all pretty much the same, and they're all pretty much the same price. Okay, with that little monologue out the way, let's do it some service anyway. We're going to put it on the microscope, have a quick look and see what's lurking under the case and that dial a bit closer up. So here we are on the microscope, and the worst thing about this watch from my perspective is it's got a jet black, smooth, shiny dial, and those are the watchmaker's nightmare, I can tell you that for nothing, because they show up every single speck of dust, dirt, hair, fibres, you name it, and you can see there's lots of little dots floating around on this watch. Now, I'm not going to say that that's from manufacturer. That's more likely from me prying it out of the movement and just putting it under the microscope. I can't say it was completely spotless from the factory, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They've probably got proper extracted rooms where they use to limit this sort of thing. So we're looking at the hands, and you can see that they're okay, but they do have what looks to be a little bit of a sharper edge, or a jagged edge, from how they've been pressed out of the sheet material. The loom looks nice and even. Same down here as well. The indices all look planted quite nicely. The loom's filled in them. Absolutely perfect, really. I cannot complain about that. I can't wait to find a watch one day I find an issue with on the dial under a microscope, but so far they've all been pretty damn decent. Just trying to see if we can have a look at an angle and you can sort of get an idea of just how deep they are. Maybe like that perhaps. Yeah, they're nice. So there we go. I'm not going to go any closer on this one because it's just going to show up more and more specks of dust, and the longer it's out of the watch the worse it's going to get. But you get my drift. That's what you're going to expect close up on the Milifortic. Okay, here's your NH38 movement. In this one, no day date function, so it's nice that they're using the right movement so there's no ghost position. Seen these 1,000 times, not much to talk about. They are very functional. They do what they say on the tin. They're going to be very, very reliable, and that is probably all you really need to know. So here it is on the Timegrapher, and it's running pretty damn sweet, to be honest with you. Beta is 1, or 0.1 should I say, and the rate is only plus or minus 0.1. That is pretty damn good if you ask me. Let's just put it down into crown up. Nice and consistent. It's just dropping ever so slightly but coming back again. This watch is regulated really nicely, look. Cannot complain about that at all. If you're regular to the channel, you'll have seen God knows how many NH movements, and they're all different. But this one is set up how I would like it to be set up, pretty much. So there we go, yeah. 10 out of 10 on the Timegrapher scale. Okay, well that is the end of the video. I don't really have any final thoughts. It's a nice enough watch at a nice enough price. You'd be happy if you bought it, as long as you like that design. But yes, you know, you've also got a lot of other things to look at, certainly with this brand and equally Boltony. So you've got a pick of all different makes with the same case. So go and check them out, please, and see what you think. Leave your comments down below, of course. I'll read every single one, try to reply to as many as I can. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more. And that's it, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.